Hi guys, welcome to Making Joyful Journals. I'm Anna G. Today I'm working on the Trashy to Classy junk journal. This is a true junk journal, and I've found, I believe, a new cover that I'm going to take from a Christmas bag, a holiday bag. And I've got some other junk that I found. Trash comes into my house like every day, it seems like, and I'm trying to find a way of reusing it, recycling it, and overall reducing the amount of trash that I have. And so I've got these things that I'm finding. Those little plastic baggies came from a Diamond Art kit. And of course, I had some junk mail. I found a tissue box. I've got some more bubble wrapping. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use the bubble wrapping. I was thinking I was going to cover the box. And then even that sticker book has got some instant ephemera or embellishments that I can cut out from it. So here's my bag. I'm going to go ahead and take it apart. And while I'm doing that, I want to ask how you guys are doing. Hope you all are doing well, that you're blessed, and that you're getting things done and having some fun in your craft room if all possible, or your crafting area, or wherever you are doing what you like to do as far as crafting is concerned. Again, I'm working on this true junk journal. And what I'm trying to say by saying it's a true junk journal is it's literally using trash, rubbish, garbage, junk, things that normally would be thrown away, that you would not recycle, reduce, or reuse, and putting them inside this project as far as using all discarded things. So I'm trying not to use things that I bought specifically for my junk journal crafting. So as you can see, even this handle is going to be a potential piece. In fact, I'm going to use it for a tag. That little red string that came off of that bag, I'm going to use that for a tag. And even this can be unwrapped. Now this one, as I'm unwrapping it, see, it's a little bit harder to unwrap because they glued it so well. So that tells you that this was a well-made bag. So because it was so hard to take apart. But this paper, it looks like it was in strands. So it looks like there's like one, maybe two strands that were like braided together or twisted together to make the handle. And so I went ahead and just scrapped that, but I will go ahead and get right back to my bag. And I'm going to make this the cover. And it looks like it's almost a perfect fit from the front cover to the spine and to the back cover, just a little bit overhanging. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to overlap the top of the bag because it looks like it's almost the exact height. But I am going to go ahead and work on this spine section, and I'm going to reinforce the bag by putting some more masking tape. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be what I consider a true junk journal. There are things that you do have to use and that are not from junk or that are not things that are considered trash, like, for example, the masking tape. That's something I purchased. And other tools, like, of course, the ruler, the cutting mats, the blades that I'm using, as well as my scissors, and of course glue. And I'm just going ahead and trying to see how am I going to reinforce this spine, because my spine will have 6 different signatures. And as I had mentioned in my other episode, this is actually a continuing series. This is the 3rd episode, and I think it was in the 2nd episode I talked about signatures and how a signature is not just your name that's signed on a check or on a document. It's considered a booklet of pages, of sheets of paper that are folded in half and then become a signature. The booklet is then put together like a pamphlet, and the book is the old-fashioned books. Nowadays, new books are usually glued in. The pages are glued in, but the old-fashioned books, and you can still find them. Some still make these books like this using signatures. They're sewn in. And you're going to see my other junk journal that I have been working on later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. But this, I'm just working on the cover, and I want to have 6 signatures. And because I'm going to have 6 signatures, and it's a very wide spine, I need to reinforce the spine section because I want it to last a long time. Like I'm not sure why, but I'm kind of worried that this trash will fall apart, and I don't know why I want to hold on to it for forever. But I want it to be nice. That's why I'm trying to make it from a trashy to classy junk journal. So I'm taking my time to try to use all of the techniques that you normally would use in creating a fine book, not necessarily a junk journal, but any type of book that you wanted to create from scratch. And so I'm trying to use some of those techniques, and that includes like mitering the corners of some of my pages. And mitering is just cutting off a little corner of it so that the pages, when they're folded, don't fight against each other. And you're going to see I need to cut some more off of here. And I'm trying to clear off some of the I think it must have been used, hot glue must have been used to put this back together. So it was really strong. And so taking it apart, of course, the glue residue is there. So I'm trying to clean that up. I've added my masking tape to the cover of this, what used to be a gift bag. And I'm even adding a little bit of a gusset there. And that gusset, what it does is it allows the book to close and open freely without getting hung up. And I know if you've ever purchased a book or a journal, maybe it's a blank journal, and the first time you open it, you hear a lot of cracking going on. That's because the gusset probably was glued too much, or maybe the gusset was too tight around the spine and the front and back covers. So I'm trying to avoid that because, it's junk and I want it to last a long time. So I'm taking my time here and adding that extra gusset there. And I have learned that that works even when you're making new journals. Let's say you're making a new journal, you're using a new chipboard, you're using new papers, fabric, what have you, and making a brand new journal for things that you specifically purchased. But even for this this true junk journal, I want to try to incorporate some of those same practices. And, we're always practicing. And practicing is not a bad word. In fact, all my life, I've always heard the saying that practice makes perfect. And nowadays, I think they say practice makes progress. Well, either way, you're learning as you go along. And even doctors who have medical degrees and they have doctorates and what have you, they're still practicing. So I don't feel bad that I make mistakes. And this is not brain surgery. This is just putting together a junk journal. So I don't feel bad like taking the papers apart, putting them back together, gluing and re-gluing, because this is my practice. So I'm not a doctor of any kind, but you're more or less doctoring and bringing a journal to life here. So the goal here is to get this cover glued on, and I had purchased some glue. So this is another thing that's not truly junk. It's the glue itself. And I had purchased this glue a while ago at Dollar Tree, and it seems to work pretty well. It's light, it flows really easily, and in fact, I think I've used half of the bottle already. So, but it seems to make a fast hold. So I'm kind of pleased with that. It said on the back that you can use it to glue fabric and things like that. And I want to, use the things that I have. I had purchased that glue probably well over a year ago. And last year, all of my crafting had kind of been put on the back burner because I had to deal with a lot of family issues. And so now I'm just getting back into my groove here and trying to enjoy the crafting of junk journaling. And I love the fact that with true junk journals, you really are not spending a lot of new dollars or you're not going out and buying things. These are things that are coming into your home naturally, either as gifts or when you go to the grocery store and you have your grocery haul, or you go to the department store and you're buying clothes or luggage or whatever it is that you're buying, and you get the wrapping around the luggage, or you're getting the wrapping around a brand new TV, or you're getting, a cardboard box because you got a treadmill for Christmas, or, whatever it is that you're getting that comes into your home. And it's normally just junk. So, as a junk journaler, we tend to want to hoard that stuff and not throw it away and then find other uses for it. So this is what I'm doing here. In fact, that box that made the cover had come from a warehouse delivery. And they tend to put things in, they recycle too. They take old boxes from stock, and then they use it to hold all the stuff that they're delivering. So that's why I don't typically use whatever that is. It has signs of damage. I'm thinking it was like Olay or some kind of lotion, but that came because I had purchased, I think, some broccoli, and they put the broccoli in that box. So even companies know that they need to recycle and reduce their costs. So this is just my way of adding to the process of saving money. And I don't know about all of you, we're in the year 2026 now, and boy, saving money is harder than ever, right? Because it seems to just fly out of your hands. The money just flies out of your hand when you're at the grocery store. And before you know it, it's like we're over $100. It's like, oh my gosh. And you come home and you look at, I have 3 bags and I paid over $100. Now, back in the day, gosh, $100 would get you like a whole cart and a half full of groceries, but that's not today. So any way that you can save money, I'm all for it. Now this manila envelope actually came from some Happy Mail, and so I saved it because it's like a sturdy piece of paper. And as you could see, I had my 6 different signatures. So these are my 6 different booklets. And these booklets, I was kind of like seeing how sturdy they were, and some of them were very lightweight, even though they all have the exact same number of pages. So going back to a signature, the signature I have 6 different signatures. That means I have 6 different booklets, and they are pieces of paper that have been folded in half. And so one sheet of paper actually makes 4 pages, because when you fold the paper in half, you have the front cover, you have the inside left cover, you have the inside right cover, and then you have the back cover of each sheet of paper. And then when you stack them all together, you end up with however many pages you have. Like, for example, I think I said I have 7 pages in each of the 6 signatures. So I have 7 sheets of paper, and they each make 4 pages of writing surface. And then, so that's 28. And then I have 6 different signatures. So each booklet or each signature has 28 pages. And then I have 6 signatures. So here I'm doing some math here. So this currently, as we're working on it, it has 168 pages, or 168 placements where you can either journal, you can collage, you can paint, you can staple things onto them, you can put clusters on them, what have you. And I'm adding this macaroni box because it's sturdy. And here's what I'm thinking of doing with this particular signature is here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to put it in the center of my signature. So that means of all of my sheets, when I fold them in half, this one's going to be the one in front before I fold them. And you'll see it in just a moment. Right now, I'm building a pocket. And I know that when you watch junk journalers, or you watch people who do crafting with books and journaling and making junk journals of any kind, you see like scoreboards coming out. Like, see right there, I made a score. I took 2 pieces of paper and I glued them together using another piece of paper, like a Band-Aid. So here I'm thinking about, okay, maybe I wrap it around another piece and make it like 4 pages. But no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try and put it in the center. So see here, that tissue paper is very thin, but I'm going to put that cardboard, that paperboard box in the middle. And so I'm not going to sew them together. I'm not going to glue that inside. But when I put the entire book together, and I'm still thinking about how I want to put the signatures in the book. If I sew it, then I would sew right there in the middle, and then I would glue this top and bottom of that flap, and I would end up with a pocket on the side plus a pocket on the top. And then here I'm thinking these tissue papers, I'm going to make a little, I guess, a pocket right there. Yeah, one of them I folded on the outside, and the other one I tucked in. And so now I have a stronger signature. And again, I'm not sure why I'm so worried about the strength of it, because again, this is just junk, but I want it to last a long time. You know, I'm taking the effort to put this together, and I'm going to be using it. I don't have a goal of what I want to use this book for yet, but I want it to be fun, and I wanted to use a lot of different techniques that I've learned just from watching other YouTubers, as well as, you know, some things that you find that you create along the way. And, you know, it's always easy to find. I've heard the word used, fodder, you know, when people are trying to find magazine things for their collage. So they look for collage fodder. And so I had to look up what fodder is. And I had always thought it was about, you know, what you use to feed cows or feed livestock, you know, what's their fodder. But in this case, fodder is like the things that you're collecting things that you collect that you want to use. And so all this trash, I'm going to consider it as all junk journal fodder. So I have a lot of that. Every day junk mail comes. I'm hoping that I don't get junk mail every day, but because you don't want it to like be adding to the trash. But on the other hand, I'm going to use it. So that envelope was a piece of junk mail, and I didn't like that it was craft colored. It was actually a craft colored envelope. But I have a lot of craft colored paper already in this journal. So I just turned it inside out. I completely disassembled it. And then I'm putting it back together now with the, you see, it even has the writing. Is it going to be on the inside? And I took a marker. Again, that's something else that's not considered junk. That's something, it's a tool. And I marked out the address so that in case if I give this away to somebody and they decide to take this all apart, they won't necessarily have my address here. And so I went ahead and put it inside out. I glued it. I even put some book page and then some coffee stain paper on the outside just to jazz it up a little bit. And that other piece of coffee dye paper I decided to shove in there, but I'll probably do something with it. Now, I feel like I have a lot of white space here. See, there's a lot of blank areas, so I'm trying to find ways of, filling in the white space. Now, this is the Life journal. This is not the one that had the gift bag cover. This is my Life cereal junk journal. And this journal was put together, the signatures were put in together with elastic. And so this, as you can see here, I can take pages in and I can take pages out. So it's very versatile as far as if I want to add to the signature, or if I want to take things out of the signature, I can do that because they're not sewn permanently in this book, in the spine. And see, I have more junk right here. Got a bunch of stuff here. And that looks like it came from a can of pineapple. I've got a plastic bag, things from a magazine. This was a piece of scrapbooking vellum. And so I was looking for a place to add it because I didn't want to throw away that piece. It's so nice. I mean, I just needed a little piece for an actual project that I was working on. But, these are scraps. So, again, I didn't necessarily buy this specifically for this book. And if I wasn't going to use it, it probably would have become trash. So I'm trying to reuse all of my scraps. Offcuts. I like to call them offcuts because they were things that didn't actually get used in the making of a book. Some of it was, but not all of it. Kind of like if you ever done sewing and you buy like 3 yards of material or fabric, and when you're cutting everything out, you have all this extra stuff that, like when you're cutting out a sleeve or you're cutting out a leg pant, and the things around it as you're cutting it, all of that are offcuts. And so in paper crafting, you have a lot of offcuts too. So I tend to save those and then try to use them. So I'm going to consider those things junk as well. I remember this is a challenge for myself. And if you want to come along on this challenge, all you have to do is take all the stuff that you would normally consider garbage, things that you would normally throw away. Like, for example, everything in this book, I probably could have thrown every single thing in this book away. That's how I'm trying to think of it. So, again, join me on this journey if you'd like to. Like, here's my cake box, and I think I have in my stash, I've added to my junk journal fodder, which I have a lot of it. I don't know about you guys, but, every time I cook or bake or do something in the kitchen, there's usually some kind of packaging that has like a pretty design on it, or it's a really lovely color, or something that came in the mail. I was like, oh my gosh, this has gold leafing on it. It's like, I have to save this. Even gum wrappers, like the outside box of the gum, it's like, oh, this is nice. It has like a little flip over already. So it's like, okay, I can use this. So tell me what are the things that you save. I know I've been reading some of the comments. I've been getting a lot of feedback. One, the commenter said that they like to use paint samples or paint chips. And it's like, that's a wonderful way of getting color added into your book, is using paint chips. And you can even cut them out. You can if you have a die cut machine, you can cut out different shapes, stars, whatever, squares, whatever is your heart's desire. And this magazine had a lot of sheet music in it. So again, this was a magazine from the 90s, I think. So, and it's been sitting in my garage for probably a good 25 years. And it's time to bring that stuff out. Otherwise, I'm going to have to throw it away, right? And I don't want to throw stuff away. I like to use stuff over and over again. I don't know if you guys are the same way. Excuse me. But this was a little bit from a magazine, and I thought, let me take this piece of junk mail, the envelope, and I'm going to cover up that return address. And then what did I do? I glued it upside down. Yeah, that was me. There you go. This is life. So I put it on upside down. So I'm going to have to find a way of getting it to sit that way in the booklet. And then this was an insert from a magazine, highlights, I think. And so I'm thinking here of making that 2 pages, like a double spread, but it didn't turn out like that. So again, I'm hoping that you're enjoying this series. I'm going to also add, I think, another bit of collage, or a cluster, I should say. And it's just more or less just taking a bunch of random stuff and gluing it all down and, collaging it together on an envelope. See that? And that came from the inside. That's the inside of a security envelope. And those security envelopes, when you look at them, when you get your bills, they have some really pretty designs on the inside of them. Some of them have like wording of where the item came from. Others are just squiggle lines. Some of them look like the ocean, like waves and things like that. It's cool. And then that one, it looks like that partial Christmas tree came from like a car ad to get my oil changed. So there's all kinds of stuff that you can find. Search your like junk drawers and see if you have receipts. Those are instant ephemera. Ephemera is anything that normally has a really short lifespan. Like, let's say it was a receipt, or maybe it was a ticket to a movie, memorabilia, keepsakes, postcards that you received. All of that can be considered ephemera. So take your time and find what you like, add it to your junk journal. And I'd like to hear from you. What is one of the things that you've added to a junk journal? If you've made one, or if you're thinking of making one, what's one thing that you have added that you didn't think was going to work, but then it turned out great? For me, all of these perfume boxes, they're so stiff, but I kind of like that stiffness. I mean, I feel like this journal could be thrown across the room and it would still be okay. I mean, that's how strong this paperboard and cardboard of all of this chipboard is, that it's really strong. So that's why my other book that I'm working on, because now I'm jumping between 2. The other one, I'm trying to strengthen it too. And so here, this was just one of those. I'm sure you've gotten these in the mail. It's like, it's got a QR code and it's too thick. So that's why I tore off the back of it. So I really enjoy working on this. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between the 2 journals now. Again, trying to keep both of them as real junk journals, true junk journals. Stick with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, God bless, take care, and bye for now.